Alright, your boy MrCV. Oh, we're back. We're back for another one. Anyone, everybody, come and give your views. Everybody, you're all welcome, man. Nice to see all of you guys.
Someone said, if you get a job that pays well, it doesn't mean you have a good job. It means you have a high paid
Hey,
job. That was actually a mad video because
No,
I'm like, yo, is that
I like that.
good job?
But
Because realistically, no. To be honest with you, a lot of people think a high paid job is a good job.
yeah, but it's not always the same thing.
no, it's not because
So
like at the end of the day, because if it's not good for you mentally or physically, then it can be the opposite. Just because it has more money in it.
mm, but I don't know. No, but to some people, but that also depends on people's motivation. Because a high paid job is a good job to a lot of people that
Yeah,
wants a lot of money.
yeah, yeah.
So it's a tricky one. It's a very tricky one. So
It's all perception, you know. A lot of
mm,
people have their motivations, like we said, and it is true that for some people, just because your job pays six figures doesn't necessarily mean it's a good job to them. You know,
mm,
what is the cost for you doing the job that you do for you to make the money that you make? What is the sacrifice that you have um, that you made for that? You know what I mean, if you have a job that doesn't pay great, but you love the job, so you consider that a good job, again, what is the cost for you doing the job that you job, you know? Like Heather said, what you know, it's about what you value. What do you value? And what is it? What is your motivation? But it's all perception, you know. I in my role, I like my job, but I don't want to stay in that position forever. But then I have seen
wow.
people older than me stay in that position for the longest time. Do you know what I mean? And I've begun to realize that maybe for them, it's a good job as it is for them to just be in
Mm,
that position. They're okay there. Whatever they've got on the side that helps them generate a lot more income, who knows? But they're okay there. That's their motivation. That's what they're okay with that. Me, I have a different motivation. I have a different, my head is in a different place. So I want to be in a different place. Do you know what I mean? So you gotta, it depends on where you are, what you value, and where you're standing.
mm, mm,
It's completely about what your motivations are and what your values are because a lot of people they'll leave school and they'll think, oh, I'm gonna hate whatever job I go in. I just need to pay the bills, and that is very much their mindset. So they'll literally just go into any job as long as it pays well, then they're sorted more or less. A
yeah.
lot of people they have a certain vision in mind or they've got something very specific that they want to do. So I think like you say, Ricardo, of course, you've got people who've been in your job who've stayed there for the longest time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But as well, like, you obviously want to move on and do more, and I think that's great as well. You're expanding your knowledge, expanding your territory, getting out your comfort zone more to a certain degree. And I think it's really good that you've got those ambitions and with that mindset, I'm sure you'll go on to do that. But I think, like you guys were saying, it all comes down to values at the end of the day and what you value the most and what your main motivations are. Because so many people, especially in this day and age, are very money motivated, and I think the world is
Mm,
very much it is driven by money. Like even people in
mm,
power, like you see, like they're doing anything possible so they can make the most money, and they feel like I personally very much feel like they are almost they're trying to get away with paying people as little as they can as well.
Obviously, the easiest way now is obviously go and do your own things by yourself, and
Yeah,
obviously that will mean you can maximize your earning. But obviously, if you are doing your own thing by yourself, which you're starting from scratch, I'm not gonna lie, the beginning is very difficult. The beginning is very tough. But once you get your foothold,
Your
and it starts to
bearings.
pick up. Yes, once you start getting that and it starts to pick up, and then you find your feet, then that's when you can start to see your waist. But obviously, people like obviously Alex has already said, people don't want to put that work in at the beginning because obviously they know that work takes a very long time, so they don't want to put that work in at the beginning. So they rather just take the easy route and just be like, no, I rather just work for a company, and then rather than you know what I mean, I don't have to start something. So and that's just what it is. People just like to take easy routes, man. To be honest with you. Just the final part before obviously we start wrapping up as well. I just wanted to ask you guys about this because someone brought it up on the live. Nah, this one's real mad one. Would you allow your partner to go on OnlyFans, or if a girl you were speaking to said they were going on OnlyFans or they be on OnlyFans, would you would you be okay with that, or would you accept that? So that one, a
Are you sure you want to use that as a closing conversation, or that's just
use that as a closing. Use that as a closing conversation. Let me just drop this one.
That
Before
is so difficult. Oh my god, because like I see so many people who are in relationships and they have OnlyFans accounts. Like like girls. There's a lot of
like,
girls I talk to on this app who are in relationships and they've got OnlyFans accounts and they've got like kids and everything at the same time. And it's like how they make their living and stuff as well.
yeah.
oh wow,
It's just it's. I think it all depends on the type of person you are. I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I think I'd struggle. I mean, I've got nothing against girls like or anyone for that matter doing OnlyFans. If that's how you want to make your income, that's entirely up to you. But I think for me personally, I think because I very much think you're promoting yourself. You're talking to other guys. You're sending. You're sharing your body and everything else with other guys, and that kind of flirting and stuff. You're also doing that with other guys slash girls. So it's like you're almost. I don't want to. I don't know if I could take cheating on them, but I don't know if that's the right word to use. But I would struggle with it definitely. I don't think I'd be able to do it personally. It's a really difficult one for me. Like it's. Go on, Ricardo. What do you want to say?
Don't feel bad, Alex. It's you. You probably are probably saying what 90% or maybe 98 or 99.9% of the male population would say, or 99 or 90% of what the female population would say. It's a job. At the end of the day, it's a job. I'm not really fussed, if I'm honest.
mm,
If I meet you and you are doing OnlyFans and I've met you and you're doing OnlyFans and this is how you make your living and this is how you work, even showing me the kind of content you publish. I mean, it's a conversation that you're gonna have with your partner. Like, okay, do you know what? I'm in your life now.
mm,
This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing.
hold on, Ricardo. Let me react to it. I'm quite shocked by that, but let me hear that. Let me hear this.
No, the reason why I'm not fussed is because it's your
Wow.
job. There is a difference between you doing it for the sake of attention because you want the whole world to see how you look versus this is your sole source of income. This is what you've chosen to be your sole source of income. And I've met you doing this. I can't now walk in until you don't do it. I can't tell you don't
Yeah,
do it. I can
I
advise
do.
you I can advise you on different ways for you to make an income, and you're gonna counter because the counter argument is gonna be in 4 days or 5 days, I make 500 pounds, right? Or maybe so let's be extreme. I make 3 grand in 3 days. You want me to now go to a job that makes 24K in a year when I could probably make that a lot quicker, for example, right? So it's gonna be what can I take? If I've met you and you're doing that, it's not my place to tell you don't do that. I've met you doing that.
Wow.
Now, if I
Wow.
met you and you was not doing that and you was working a normal job, and now you tell me I want to get into this line of work, then I'm gonna be like, well, why? What is it that what is the real motivation behind it? And then I'm gonna
Well,
ask
she will
myself,
tell you the same thing that you said.
I'll be
She
like,
makes,
that's
she's
fine.
gonna make 3K in.
Yeah, then I'll be like, then that's fine for you, but depending on where I'm in my life, that's not okay for me. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
we just missed
Wow.
out. If you're in love, if this is a love thing, you can't just turn your back on little things like that. Do you know what I mean? Because they're
yeah, I
bigger.
do agree.
So it depends on it depends on the whole situation. If I meet you, then that's your job. Dude, you imagine you work, I don't know, you're a policeman, right? Put your life on the line, right? And then a woman walks into your life and says to you, I don't want you to be a policeman anymore.
Nah, that's different, man. That's
No,
different,
it's not.
man.
No, no,
Yeah,
you don't.
see,
I'll
but
be honest with you.
You
I'll be
see,
honest with you. That's different,
let
man.
me tell you where you all struggle. Let me tell you, you're all struggling because the fact of this is the job. The job is you show up for.
No,
Let
no,
me finish.
no,
see,
no, Ricardo. I'm gonna disagree. You know what? You know what? It even looks like.
Let
It
me
even looks
finish.
like.
Let me
Okay,
finish.
okay,
Let me finish.
okay,
Let me
okay.
finish.
Alright.
Your complaint, your argument is because no matter how you guys are going to try and slice it, your argument is this person is showing their body to generate money, and the thought that you're telling yourselves is they are going to be probably moving mad on the side. That is your thought process because
Nah.
let me
Okay.
finish.
I'll let you finish.
Because these are the same. You guys are the same guys, right? I'm not saying you two in general, but you guys are the same guys
Mm.
who go watch a female stripper on a stag do, and you go and put money, you'll go and finance their job, right? If this lady was a CEO of a blue chip company earning the same money, nobody would have an issue with it. Nobody would say nothing. Even if she had to rub shoulders or maybe stay a little bit late behind the office to work on some paperwork behind, but because it's a respectable job, you wouldn't have an issue. But it's the line of work that is the problem. That is the only problem. The money is not the issue that he or she is making. It is the particular job. That is
yeah,
because of what they're doing. If they were working a prestigious job, you wouldn't have the same problem. You wouldn't say, if you said, would you have an issue if your wife was CEO, if your girl was CEO of Burberry? Nobody would bat an eyelid. Because it's the line of work that they're doing is where the issue is. And you just have to ask yourself what you can you take and what you can't take. There is no point in trying to shame the individuals by
No,
assuming they
no.
are doing more than what they're doing. Do you know what I
no,
mean?
no, no. Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean,
It's the line of work that they chose to do.
Alright,
That's
cool.
all it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
fair enough. Alex, you wanna say yours and then I'll come in after.
yeah, yeah, not a problem. But yeah, it's just, I mean, the thing for me, I mean, because I know I'm not subscribed to people's OnlyFans. It's not really my thing. It's the sort of thing, I'm the sort of person, I'll try it once, see what it's like, but if I'm not interested, then I'll just scroll on. But I think the thing, like you were saying, Ricardo, of course, if it's their job, if it's what they do for a living, then of course it's not up to me to just go, oh, delete your site, otherwise I'm not staying with you. It goes back to what we were saying of, like, you need to match your surroundings, and of course, by all means, I've got no disrespect for anyone who does OnlyFans, and if you've got an OnlyFans account and you're in a relationship, again, that's up to you. That's entirely your choice. And if you can manage that and you're happy with that, then I respect you entirely. That's really, really good. But for me, on a personal level, I would really struggle with it. But if that's what they want to do, I wouldn't shame them for that, and I wouldn't try and force them to delete their account. But like I say, personally, I wouldn't want. I think I would struggle to be with someone who is on an OnlyFans account. But that's not for me to say. I'm going to be controlling or be shameful towards them. But yeah, because it's just not the person I am. I do, of course, like I said, I don't agree with. Obviously, like I was saying earlier, no one is going to agree on everything. There may be certain things I don't agree with, but like I say, I'm going to accept them no matter what. But
you're struggling, Alex. I understand what you're saying. I understand.
yeah, I would struggle with it if someone I knew, like if I was in a relationship and someone had an OnlyFans as well. But I'm going to shame anyone for it by any means.
Okay, go on, Mr.
Go on then.
Stevie. Go on.
Wow. Wow, the pressure is getting worse.
It's mad.
Hey, nah, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was been shocked still, regarding what you said. But obviously, everyone has their own views, and obviously, this is why we set up this to obviously listen to people's different views. Obviously, we don't have to agree with everybody, and everybody is free to express themselves. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, maybe it's a good time that I brought this topic, you know what I mean? Because it's got people fired up now. I think people are awake now, ready to fire what they want to say. But personally, I'll be honest with you. Like, first of all, let me say this first of all. Let me say this first of all. Let me put it clear.
Okay.
Obviously, we're not here to condemn or shame anybody that does OnlyFans. In it. That's not
No.
what we do. Like, you know what I mean? If you do that and you're totally fine with it and you're cool with it, that's cool for you. Obviously, I have a different view on that. And obviously, people, like, obviously, I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I've heard people say that it's their job and they look at it as a literal way of saying it's their job. And yeah, on one part, yeah, you're welcome. It is their job. But obviously, there comes to the point where I think as an individual, obviously, you also, Ricardo, though, before you get with them, you would have had a little bit of a knowledge about what they do. And obviously, if you now get with them knowing what they do, then technically on that level, you can't really tell them what to do after because already you knew already what they were doing before you get with them. So if you get with them, you're basically saying it's fine by you. Like
Right.
me, if I had like me, if I was talking to him, I had only and I had fans. If he's not fans of a football team, or if he's not fans of my team, you know what I mean? Like, forget if he said he was only Arsenal fan, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Only Man United fan, cool. Only Liverpool fan, cool. Only rugby fan, cool. But only fans, nah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. Or it might be only a fan of me, cool. Like, obviously, this comes down to values, in it. This comes down to values and your morals, in it,
Yeah.
and what you are able to tolerate and accept. Do
Morals.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Morals.
exactly.
Morals is a very. I want to see where you're gonna go with morals first, because that's the very
No.
strong
Obviously,
issue.
no. Everybody. Obviously, I'll be honest with you. We live in a generation where everything goes in it. I feel morals has been lost in it. Everything goes in it these days. These days
Right.
now, people justify things that you know is not justifiable, but
Okay.
because but because in their eyes you can do whatever you want. Technically, everything it goes. But
Right.
obviously, that's why I said that it depends on your values and your morals. It's not we're not talking about the moral compass of the world. I'm talking about you, the one you believe, and that obviously that's different for different individuals. Obviously, to you, you see it as just work. To me, is probably more to it because in the sense that obviously, like you said, you are displaying yourself to your office, but in a way where yes, you do get a lot of money, but you also said at what cost do you get that money?
Right.
Yeah.
Because earlier you did say I'm quoting Ricardo 2022, which you did say.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm quoting that, which you did say.
Yes.
Obviously,
Yes.
yes, it does come at a cost, and obviously, if we start to think about some of the cost as well with it, because obviously I was watching something recently, actually, like I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where this woman, she apparently she's the most hated woman in Britain,
Okay.
and she was doing OnlyFans. One of the reasons why she's even the most hated woman is because what she did was she lied to the NHS that she was having depression in order to get a free Botox from NHS.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, obviously with the NHS, I think they won't give it to you unless it's like a special circumstance. And also, a lot of people, what they do is they rather go to like Turkey because there it's much cheaper than obviously doing in the UK. But what that happened is after doing that, she did her OnlyFans. She did very well, but obviously her child was getting bullied and attacked at school, which obviously she ended up having to take the child out of school in the middle of nowhere. She was getting homeschooled, but her child is like 14. And her child, do you know what her child said? Her child said too, she also aspires to be OnlyFans when she turns 18. And that's at 14 years old. She already has that kind of ambition. And I was like, wow, like for me, that's a lot personally. You know what I mean? That's a lot. But obviously, like I said, it depends on how you look at it. If you're looking at it as just a job, cool. For me, if they were doing OnlyFans before I met them, as in, let's say for example, they were going through financial struggles. They were going through financial struggles, and they've tried all the ways possible. They tried to look for a job. They've applied for jobs, and they desperately needed money. And they were doing OnlyFans. They made a bit of money, and then they stopped doing OnlyFans. And then I met them after that, and they've completely stopped. Then you know what? Fair enough. Situations happen in life that you might have to do certain things, both not illegally, but you might have to do certain things. Then cool, I can overlook it.
So you can overlook somebody who used to do OnlyFans. Doesn't matter the kind of content they post, because your OnlyFans is also the type of content that you post too, right? Some people make money of just pictures of feet, and then some
Mm.
people go to the extreme side. Because in my mind, I assume everybody goes to the extreme side of OnlyFans. They don't think of the day-to-day.
That's what generally most people assume.
Yeah, they go straight to the extreme side. They don't think of any other stage in between that, right? So you're saying you'd be okay to
No, no, no,
overlook they'd been on the extreme side at one point and they don't do it anymore. You'd be okay to
no.
be with.
Don't misquote what I said. Don't misquote
I'm
what I
asking a
said.
question. I'm not misquoting. I'm
Okay,
asking a
that's what
question.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is this is if let's say for example they were going through
Yeah,
financial
I know.
struggle, the lowest point in their life
I get that.
where they've tried everything. The reason why I'm putting the word they've tried everything there is because we get people these days where they apply for one or two jobs, they don't get a job, and they think, next minute I'm done. Where my generation, your generation, we probably went through like 500, 600 applications before you even get like two call ups. And even the two call ups you get, they're like, yo, I'm sorry, you're
Yeah,
not qualified
yeah.
enough for the job. And then you go back again and do the process. But these generations, like, I apply for two jobs, like, they're not giving me a job. And then straight on OnlyFans. But I'm saying that if they've tried everything within their power, within their capabilities, and obviously they were still getting no results. And cool, that last for me, I feel like OnlyFans probably has to be the last resort. Has to be the last resort.
And you'd still
And
date
if it
them.
was the last resort,
Doesn't matter the
um,
content that they pushed out, you'd still be okay to date them.
if it was the last resort, if it was the last resort they had,
Listen, we're
then
speaking the
cool.
same English, Mr. CV. What I'm asking you,
I know that.
does it matter the content that they posted? I know
Don't
it's not
worry.
the last resort. They
Let's take it. Let's take it one by one. In it. We'll get to that content part in section two. Let's take it one by one. If it's the last resort, then
yeah,
like you know what? Because the reason why I'm saying that as well, because obviously as humans, there's certain things we've done in the past where obviously it is questionable. I'm sure there's certain things I've done in the past as well that if it was to bring up, you might start thinking, oh, Mr. CV, wow, is that you? Like, wow, you might. Well, and obviously I've looked at it and I thought, you know what? I wouldn't, if I had the choice, I wouldn't do that again. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, cool. But obviously, I try my best to try and live a way where obviously I try my best to, according to my morals and values, to try and do what I feel is right. You know what I mean? That could be different to other people.
a question for you.
What's the question?
Okay. So for women, OnlyFans is like up there as quote one of the worst jobs a woman could do and expect to be seen as a woman of value, right? because this is the narrative that has been pushed around the internet. Okay, so for a man, what would it be? Drug dealer? Um, what's the worst? Yeah, drug dealer, in it, like a cartel drug dealer. Like he provides poison and he provides heroin, and people buy to end their life. Yeah, which one do you reckon is more understandable between the two in this day and age? Which
What do
one
you
do
mean
you
by
think?
more honest?
Which one do you think they find an excuse for more in this day and age?
Uh, personally, yeah, I don't know. I don't
The
know.
drug
You
dealer.
can,
It's always the drug dealer. Because they will say it was hard on the streets. I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. Man started pushing
okay.
drugs, and here I am. And it's understandable, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think with
understandable.
OnlyFans,
Not necessarily. It's not understandable. The reason why I'm gonna say it's not understandable because it really comes down to obviously the values of what you believe in. Someone like myself,
Where you are in your
I
life,
wouldn't. Huh?
or where you are in your life at that time.
But even where I was in my life, those drug dealing will be last resort for me because jobs out there that I can do. There's cleaning jobs out there. There's hospitality jobs out there. But we have a generation where they have these other alternatives, such as cleaning jobs and all these other jobs. And they're like, nah, I don't want to do cleaner. Cleaning is not a good job. I don't want to do hospitality.
Not
And then what
glamorous.
happens? Huh? It's not glamorous enough. And then what happens? They want to do those other jobs. So they want to do things such as drug dealing because it makes them quicker money. And like you said earlier as well, like you said before, when you can make 500 pounds in 3 days, or you can do a cleaning job or other jobs where you're making £10 an hour, you think to yourself, which one would I rather do? You know what I mean? Even though the drug dealing is more riskier. That's why for me, yeah, it's if it's last resort. But before it gets to last resort, there are jobs out there for people to do, such as there are alternatives there. You know what I mean? If you choose deliberately not to take those alternatives and you just jump straight to whichever one makes the most money, then obviously there's questions to be asked. There's
Right.
questions to
So
be asked.
what if they jumped to it first and then they made the money and then I don't know, for whatever reason, they stopped and now they're doing something else more quote unquote socially acceptable or respectable, right? Would it still affect you wanting to date them?
Like I said, if they've done something in the past,
Yeah, but I'm forget about the past now. I'm saying I'm
no, but
taking it
it
further.
is the
I'm
past
also
though.
saying,
It is the
but I'm
past.
also saying to you, what if they chose it first rather than last? What if they went with that straight away, got some money, and then went to something more respectable or socially acceptable? What would you say to
Like,
them then?
I know what you're doing. What you're doing is you're you're strangling that word resort, last resort. I know that's what
No,
you're. What you
it's kind of
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
makes a difference whether you did it last as a last resort or whether you did it or you did it anyway.
For me, it does make a difference because it shows that you've gone through an effort to try your best to
Okay.
do, like you said, what's more socially acceptable. It is important to me because, like I said, there are alternatives out there for you to do. And if you haven't explored those alternatives and you just looked at what gives you the most money, these days now, everybody wants quick, easy money that they don't even have to do anything, basically. You basically don't have to have no skill, no talent, nothing. You just, it's just there. But if you actually gone through the effort of last where you've tried your hardest. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, that's why I said that there's situations in life that obviously certain decisions you make, you just make those drastic decisions because of what you're going through at the time. Cool. Obviously, that's what I'm saying. That is cool. But for me, there's options out there, and if you've explored all the options and then you realize that okay, cool, I've done what I can do. I'm in a position where I can't I can't try more than I've done, and then you now decide that, alright, cool. Then obviously I can be more understandable and be like, cool, you know what? Fair enough. Situations happen in life. Cool. I hold my hand up. And then obviously now that obviously you've done what you've done, and you realize that cool, I want a different lifestyle and I want to change myself. Alright, cool. Then obviously if I am cool with it and which I'm most likely going to be anyway, because I'm more understandable that cool things happen, we move on, cool. But obviously, other people might have a different thing and think, you know what, I can't live with that. I can't the burden of it. I can't take it. Then yeah, cool.
The thing is, someone done it in the past before you. There's a difference between doing it in the present with you. Um,
Yeah, I do agree with that.
yeah, there's no such thing as easy money either. Everything takes a long time to earn and build, which makes sense. I think it's personal preference. At the end of the day, it comes down to what you know you can take, what you're concentrating on, and I guess where you are. It comes down to you. I think morals. It's morals is a it's not a term that I would put in it because everybody gets to a point where your core belief and your morals don't play a role when you're trying to survive. For example, you know, my morals won't allow me to do a cleaning job. My morals won't allow me to work in McDonald's. Can't do a McDonald's job. You will never find me in a fast food chain.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, I've done it once before, but I don't want to do it again.
Never done it, can't do it, won't do it ever. People think I'm bougie. Nah, I just can't. It won't sit with me. I feel like for me, lowest of the lowest. That's my personal preference. Not that I shun people who do that. I just fed for me. So I think it's personal preference on what works for you.
What's the reason
Yeah.
why?
Because I see how horrible it is, and I heard my mom was a manager of KFC. I listened to the stories.
If you were unemployed and
Wouldn't do it.
McDonald's job was there,
Wouldn't do it.
so you rather be unemployed than do McDonald's job.
I'd rather be cleaning than do a McDonald's job.
Okay, if you had the choice,
It comes down to personal
okay,
preference. I'm saying it's personal preference what you choose to do to survive for however long you choose to do it. And it's also personal preference on who comes into your life, knowing what you're doing. Because not everything you do defines who you are as an individual as well, right? And I think some people confuse the job that you do versus the person that you are. So if I'm a boxer for a living, people automatically assume I'd be an aggressive person because I like to fight. Maybe I live the life of fighting. Could be the most peaceful person who doesn't even like confrontation. But I happen to be good at boxing, for example. So I feel like some people will they misconstrue the job that you do as well versus the person that you are. And I think it just comes down to personal preference for each and everyone. A lot of people will jump on the bandwagon and say, "No, I'd never do that. I'd never do that." And meanwhile, they probably would if the girl was hot enough. There are other people who would genuinely be like, "Nah, I know that my what I can take emotionally or the stories that I'll be telling myself is not enough to be strong enough to be able to be like, yeah, I can cope." You know, everybody has it's just what you can take, I think. And for me, it's not that I'm super secure. I get jealous. Sometimes I get paranoid, but I get those ways when I don't feel like my woman is showing me what I need to show, what speaking my love language, you know. So if she goes out and if I'm met and she does a job that requires her to be around men 24/7 or requires her to expose certain parts of her body, but I knew this beforehand, I have to be prepared for what comes with it.
yeah, no, 100%. If you
That's
know it
it.
before and you decide to go with it, yeah, then you 100% you take whatever comes with it.
Yeah, she had a past and she did it. I don't care.
Fair
Don't care.
enough. Fair
I
enough.
just care
Yeah.
about right now. No, I care about right now and I care about what we're gonna do moving forward. Do you know? I just care about right now where we go from here and how me and you are both gonna go. How we are both going to go.
If she asks you to join in, you would be happy to accept to join in.
What to join in if she was doing OnlyFans?
Yeah, yeah, but she asked you to,
Like the support.
yeah, to support, but
Okay.
not just support from the background, support in terms of the main action as well, and just
Get involved. So obviously let's say she performs by herself, but then she wants to now do stuff when it's me and her together. So
yeah,
now we become a team doing it.
probably. I don't know how the I don't
Person,
know why. Don't laugh
person,
though.
no,
Be
no, I
because
get it
obviously,
because no, I get it because there are couples out there who they do it as a couple. and they probably have the best relationship ever because they're doing it together. So they're doing what
Okay.
they do in the bedroom, but for the world to see, and they're getting paid for it. And
Mm.
I got no qualms for them. Me, I'm not. It's not my thing. There's a difference between
But
recording what me
you
and my
could, to be honest
do.
with you, if obviously, like you said, if there's McDonald's job there, and obviously this is a job to you, which obviously, like you said, these OnlyFans is just a job. So, and you said you can't do McDonald's job, but obviously this job is available. Would you
Yeah,
pay you obviously double because obviously
probably
two
triple, in fact.
incomes is better than one, probably triple.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? If it's a job to you, wouldn't it be good for you to take it? And then, like you said, work together and build the name you and the family.
Well, that's just like saying okay, a fireman pays really, really well, but the cost of what I could do to be a fireman, will it be worth it for me? No, because if something horrible happens, it's coming back on me. No. If that's her job, that's not my job. It's her job. You want to
No, I
do,
know, but she wants you to be
yeah,
to
but this, if
support.
I wanted to do OnlyFans, I would have done it already. You would have met me to,
No, because before you met her, that the desire of OnlyFans or that ambition wasn't there.
no,
But now that you've met her,
you,
she's now doing it. She
you,
might she might transfer she might
that's
transfer that
not,
that that motivation, or you might feel like, you know what, she's earning this amount.
bruv, no, I'm already aware of how much money you can make on OnlyFans beforehand. OnlyFans is not new. It has been around for a very long time. It only got
Okay.
publicized recently. It's only been made public more. It is not new. Sex has been selling for years. Sex sells for years. The only thing that's different is now it's no longer a taboo. It has become society's norm, although society likes to try and shun it. It is like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do this, I do this, I do OnlyFans. Okay, it's just in conversation. Sex has been selling for years, so it's not a new thing. So if I wanted to sell my body for money, I could have before I met her. So because I meet her and she's doing it, that's okay for you. And I'm okay with you doing it for you. Doesn't mean I want to do it with you. I'm okay doing IT support where I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? You do, that's your job. I'm doing my job. I don't need to be part of your job to make extra more money. You do your job and I'll do my job. And that's fine. And when you get tired of your job and you want to do something else, we talk about it. And if it's something that's non-sexual related and you want to go back into whatever world, fine. You want to go work at McDonald's, fine. I'm just saying, personal preference for me, I don't need to do it. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm okay.
And if people ask, let's say for example, obviously you working where you are, and people ask,
Well,
what
she
does your
works,
partner do? You
she works
will
in the adult,
be, huh?
she works in the adult industry.
You be right. That's cool. If you be
Listen, if you listen, if my partner works in the adult industry, can you lie and say, "Oh,
I
she's in
don't
entertainment"? Because
I don't know.
you might subscribe to her, and I've said, "Oh, she works in entertainment, right?" And then we go to a work function, and then I bring her, and then he happens to be a sub. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't know your girl was Firecracker 78. She's in the
Uh,
adult industry." Simple as that. Simple as that. Like, you just have to take the fact of if that's what you've gone with. If I've picked my partner and she works in the adult industry, why am I then trying to hide that she does it or feel any kind of way? I've picked it,
no,
right? I'm gonna hold her hand and I'm gonna walk down the street with her. We're probably gonna go to a restaurant. Somebody is probably seeing her online. I'm
mm,
taking that as part of the responsibility of being
yeah,
with her.
100%. If you're gonna choose that kind of obviously
Exactly. Just like being with
lifestyle,
her.
obviously
So,
you gotta take whatever comes with it as well. Everybody has their own, obviously, like I said, preference, which is fine. But
everybody has
obviously, for me, I'll be honest with you, that like I've already said mine anyway. obviously it has to be like a last resort. But say yours in it, and then we let Alex.
I think you guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying, or you're
No, no,
misinterpreting.
nobody's misunderstanding what you said.
What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, I choose that, then that's what I am going to accept with everything. I am not
Mm.
saying that's what I do. I'm saying
No,
if
no,
that's the
no, no.
choice that I make, then that comes with everything, isn't it? I'm not saying that
Mm.
listen, I know for a fact that my partner does not do OnlyFans. I know she doesn't. So I don't have to worry about does she do OnlyFans. She doesn't do OnlyFans. Do you understand? That's
And
not
if
her bag.
it's
That's
if
not
it's
her speed.
considered okay.
Do you understand? That's not her bag. That's not her speed. If she said, if I met her and she did OnlyFans, she does OnlyFans. I met her. I like her. She does OnlyFans. OnlyFans does not determine who she is as an individual. It determines the job that she does. Do you understand? Tomorrow she could decide she wants to be an air hostess. Do you understand? Next week she could decide she wants to be an actress. And then it doesn't matter. It just matters who you are and what you and I've taken you wholly as who and what you are. And I'm prepared to walk around with knowing that this is what I have chosen. It is like I don't know, I don't know what other thing some people can call
Salute you.
just yeah,
I
it
salute
just
you. That's
you know
fair enough.
and then I think maybe because for me, what's really important for me is somebody taking me for exactly who I am and what I have. Do you understand? Because you never, nothing is permanent and nothing is forever. So you don't know
Mm.
if this is where I started at one point in my life and then what I'm going to later on become in the future. Do you know? You don't know. You know, there are so many famous or influential people out in the world that when you read their biography or you hear their backstory, it becomes a scandal because nobody could believe they would do such a thing. Do you understand? But the person, and they realize that they've been with that one person for years. Do you understand? And that means they were with them during that time, and they're with them when they've become something bigger. Do you know? And it's because that person was not bothered about where they were in their life at that point or what they were doing in their life at that point. They were more bothered about the individual and who they are and how they are. And it's that person, it's that personality, it's that nature, it's that is what nurtured them to get them to where they are. Do you know? So because I cannot preach, take me as I am, if I can't take somebody as they are, I cannot preach it. I'm being double standards or a hypocrite. So yes, you are gonna there are gonna be so many people at different points in life doing whatever because for whatever personal reasons, but it doesn't take away who they are as an individual. You can meet a lovely lady in a coffee shop or a lovely man at a museum and be chatting to them and being this and being that, and then later on find out that they were an escort at some point in their life because anything sexual is a taboo. So they were an escort at some point in their life, and all of a sudden, for some reason, as human beings, our perception got slightly stained of that individual because sex is doing something sex related is disgusting, but you have sex pretty much every day with somebody. So it's like just take them as they are. Do you know what I mean? And encourage them to be whatever they want to be because it's who they are that is important, not always what they do. You could always change what you do. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you can even change who you are, but just accept them for who they are. And just to take them for who they are with everything that they have. Do you know what I mean? And be proud.
Yeah, fair enough. Before I say my one, let Alex speak in it so that Alex, obviously you've heard both sides in it. So you've heard both
Both
sides
sides.
of the coin. No,
Yeah,
he's heard
so
both sides of the coin in it
Yeah,
because
no,
obviously
no, I've just been listening to
obviously
you
no
guys
one's
talk.
asking you to choose any side in it, but just say what you
there's no
feel
side.
according.
There's just
No,
opinions.
no, obviously, no. There's no sides. There's no sides. Obviously, everybody's free to decide. Obviously, no. There is no side, but there is sides depending on what you feel.
Right, okay.
Hey, Alex, not that difficult, man. Just say your view. No, you
Yeah,
don't have to choose sides.
it's all good. So I think I'll say my part and then I think I'm gonna head off if that's all right.
Yeah. We're wrapping up anyway. To be honest with you.
But
Yeah.
to be honest, my point of view on things, and I appreciate everything you guys have said. Like definitely, and I think what you were saying, Ricardo. If you meet someone whether it's a man or a woman, and they decide that they want to do OnlyFans. Yeah, and or you find out they used to be an escort, or they used to do OnlyFans, or they are one of those things. Then of course, as a person, I would have nothing against that, and I would support that, of course. But if we're talking partners and relationships, then I wouldn't be able to take that on personally. But I mean, just because I see it as like, because you're flirting with other guys basically, and I think I as a person would struggle with that. But again, if they used to do it in the past and they're not doing it now, and I find I actually like them, then of course, by all means, it's in the past, they're not doing it now, then I will happily, talk to them, and if things do go that way, then yes, of course, I will happily you know take things further with them. But yes, of course, again, like you say, Mr. CV, you were talking about the whole last resort side of things. Again, it's like, it depends what you mean. Like, have they considered, working in a fast food joint, and if that's not what
That's what I'm
they
saying.
want to do, and like, obviously, everyone has their own way of doing things. And when you think of a last resort, there isn't just OnlyFans. There's so many other things. Like, I know there's obviously, this is probably another controversial one, but there's forex trading, for example, just as like a plain example. There's these little online businesses that people do, and that there are other ways you can make money and create things as well. So I suppose it depends how deep you want to go, really, as far as that side of things go. But again, it coming back to me as a person again. I respect that completely, and I don't disrespect anyone who does OnlyFans or who is with someone who does OnlyFans. And by all means, I will accept those people. But you know, but with the relationship and the whole couple side of things, again, even with the last result thing, I think it would be a struggle for me, 100%. But yeah, it just and of course, I know you were talking about Ricardo. We do kind of say, "Accept me for me," sort of thing. But again, we have talked about, even with the things we're doing, not everyone, especially with what I'm doing with my drumming side of things. But not everyone. You're not going to please everyone. You're not going to accept everyone, and we have got to respect that as well. And of course, I mean, I'm not. I don't want this to come across like I'm being disrespectful or anything to do it to anyone who does this side of things as well, because I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I would support anyone completely to like who would want to do it, but I'm talking for me on a personal level in terms of the relationship side of things. It's a no for me.
Okay,
Lovely, mate.
let's hear
Nah,
it.
to be honest with you, obviously, for me, like I said, I'll go back to values, morals, and also I'll even say religion as well. And obviously, coming from a Muslim perspective or religious perspective, obviously things like that. Yes, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one's perfect. Yes, we should accept people as they are. Obviously, yes, but just even general people struggle to accept people as they are anyway. You know what I
Can I?
mean?
Sorry,
Yep.
I'm going to interrupt you there. I think there is accepting who people are, but there is also I think we as people as well. We have a certain perception of who we want in a relationship, on like the type we have. I think, and some of us have a type, and the type of people we want to be in a relationship with. So I think there's a difference between accepting a person as they are, just as a person, if that makes sense, like just in general, and then there's obviously accepting person as they are in a relationship sense.
So obviously, yeah, accept accepting them as they are and stuff. But also, you also have a decision to make as well. And obviously, you need to make a decision according to what aligns with the way you see things. You know what I mean? And if the way you see it, and you see it, and you know what, like, you know what, I respect what you do, which is obviously I respect what people do, however they choose their life. I respect it. Also, apart from even that, there's other things people do that I respect, but I wouldn't say I totally agree with, but I don't have an issue with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I respect
absolutely.
what you do. For me personally, I would say no, that's not something I want to be part of. As I have mentioned beforehand, because obviously I do understand that obviously life does throw things at you that sometimes you don't expect, and sometimes you have to do. Sometimes people do things because of obviously certain situations they've been in and stuff. And obviously, yeah, obviously we can look at them and just quickly dismiss them, which some people do. But also you can look at them and be like, you know what, fair enough. Certain things happened. Obviously, they've gone through that situation. They've learned from it. But no, obviously, like I said, I will reinstate as well. Obviously, for me, I would always want to think at the back of my mind. Obviously, that's last resort because, like obviously Alex has put out there, there are so many things that you can, especially these days now. There's so many things that you can do that you can generate income. But what happened is, and the way I see it is, a lot of people want to generate such crazy amount of income rapidly. And if
Yeah.
you are going to generate crazy amount of income rapidly, I'll be honest with you, from the figures I've seen, then OnlyFans is one of those ways that you can generate income on a rapid. Because if you're trying to do entrepreneurship, that does take
Um,
that does take a long time. Even though you do generate it, it does take a long time. One of my guy he was running a business for 18 months. He wasn't seeing any income at all. 18 months. And I've also heard some other guys that I know, similar situation. Um, even trading itself, it takes a bit of time as well because you need a bit of time to get used to what you're doing, how to trade and stuff. But when it comes to these ones, especially if you are let's say, a very attractive woman, obviously that also helps as well in increasing the income to come quicker. But like I said, a lot of these things, obviously, Ricardo sees it differently, which is absolutely fine. Obviously, it aligns with your vision and the way you see things. I also see it differently because also it aligns with the way I see things as well. But for me, I try my best not to dismiss anybody because I do understand that things happen in life, and I do get that. But
same here.
obviously, it depends on obviously if it depends on if they're doing it currently. I'll be honest with you, that's a no no for me personally, because it's just like if they're doing it currently, yes, according to some people it's a job, but for me personally, there's so many jobs out there that you can do.
There are lots of other jobs out there that keep your clothes on.
But obviously, like I said, obviously, if it doesn't align with obviously your vision and stuff, and also, like I said, there's things such as religion that does guide me, morals, values, culture as well. These things guides myself, and if I look within those ones, it's if it doesn't align with obviously what I do. And like I said, we're not here to judge anybody. We're not here to shame anybody because we all do things that morally can be questionable
Yeah,
once in a while. Do you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
but obviously there comes to levels which I think people have said already, which you're able to accept. And if you know that that's something you can't accept and you're not okay with, then it's better for you not to get involved in it. But if it's something that you see as okay, cool, I'm okay with it, and you're absolutely fine, then fair enough with it. And that's it, really, personally. But wow, wow, that's mad. That is mad. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nah, definitely. Nah, this topic for sure. But I'm definitely gonna put it out there because I'll be honest, I've never heard anyone say that. It's just, yeah, fair enough. People have different views, I guess, in it. So
Yeah, of course. No, it's a good one to be fair, because like you say, not many people really bring up that type of thing.
yeah, for sure.
I think I just have an open mind to a lot of things because I just think the world has we're judgmental and we have an opinion about almost anything and everything. We all have opinions, and some of us are scared of sharing our opinions, so we follow the common narrative. And when you hear somebody who says something completely outside, what? I have never heard somebody say It is just a job. It's like, because I can look at it as, yes, you're selling your ass on the internet. I can look at it like that. I can also look at it as you just want attention. I can look at it like that too. But I can also look at it as maybe it's just a job and this is all you had, or this is the most flexible thing you could do for the time being. Maybe it's just a stopgap until you get yourself on your feet. Maybe it's a side hustle alongside what you already do for a living. Like maybe you're a single parent and you're struggling. Maybe you just want the whole world to see that you got a fat ass, or you just had a BBL done. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are so many reasons why we do what we do, but the fact of the matter is, we do it, and it just is. Do you know? If I think anything that generates money is a job, right? If anything that generates a source of income, we're trained to believe it's a job, right? We're trained to believe if we get paid for a service.
Remember, Alex and Ricardo, we said just because the job is paying you a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean it's a good job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
absolutely.
exactly.
So everything is all linking in together. Everything is linking in together. Because for me, a good job to me is one that I feel like I'm making a difference, to be honest with you. So it's not necessarily the pay. So everything is questionable. Things are questionable. So, but anyways, obviously I don't want to take you man's time in it because I know Alex needs to go as well, and I know you're feeling tired as well. But literally, another wonderful one. Really appreciate it. Take care, man.